Okay, so during this video, I am going to show you each of these 34 pieces of wood on rollers. And then I had a neat idea that we could turn this into a little bit of a game. You can pick out the pieces for the stick that you want, and then I'm going to build 3 more sticks out of the remaining pieces. And the goal is going to be to come up with something that you prefer better than your own design. That'll be the challenge. Starting off with piece number 1, Sassafras. So this is the neat thing about Sassafras is that the lines that you see in it, they tend to be fairly dark, and then you have all these bright spots. Everything here has shellac on it, clear shellac, just to show you what the finished color would look like without necessarily being a whole lot of shine on it, but it does bring out the color an awful lot. Here's piece number 2. This one's about almost 8 inches long. I think the best thing about Sassafras is when you pair it up with Sassafras that actually has bark remaining on it, like these pieces over here. This is Beech. There's some really neat patterns going on here. Spalted and stabilized Beech. This is also Beech. Gives us about a foot long here. This is maple, and you can actually see a little bit of the curly pattern. Whoops. A little bit of the curly pattern in there. And these are long enough that they could be, well, that's 18 inches, so you'd only need another 11 inches or so to have a full stick. This is a really nice piece. And then here's another piece, 18 inches. This has a whole lot more of the spalting going on, and you can see some of the lines a little bit better. Interesting thing about this is you see these areas like that and that right there. That's wood that is less degraded, and it has a whole lot more substance to it. You can just kind of tell, and you see the ripples going through there as well. You'll see a lot of the waviness of this when it's finished. That's maple. That's piece number 6. Now we are getting into the black cherry burl. This stuff is just exquisite. This absolutely blows me away. About 7 inches here. Really, really beautiful stuff. And that'll be cut away. That's a little bit of blue that dripped down from other wood when I was baking it. This is piece number 8. This is more black cherry with a pretty spectacular burl section in here. Piece number 9 is also black cherry. Now, on a piece like this, when you have all of these pockets in here, all that gets filled in with epoxy, and then it can be any color of epoxy that you want, and typically it would be black. An example of that, by the way, is this right here is hickory that had a big knot in it that I filled in with black epoxy, both there and in this section right here. That's a black epoxy, that line right there. Piece number 10, also black cherry burl. This is, call it 6.5 inches. Oh, look at that. Isn't that delicious? I wish I had some cinnamon ice cream to go with that. That is just so gorgeous. My goodness. Look at that. Look at that going on right there. Crazy. Right on my birthday, God blessed me with a whole, probably about a couple 100 pounds of black cherry burl all over the place. I was very excited. Very nice stuff here. This one is piece 11, and that is just a hair over 8 inches. Now moving into the black walnut. A lot of burl sections in here that are mixed in with regular wood. This piece is piece number 12. It's 6.5 inches long. Love the coloring, how you have both the sap and the heartwood there. Beautiful stuff. That's piece number 12. 13. So that gives us about a foot, almost 13 inches. And yes, that section right there also has a finish on it. It just happens to be very light right there. Okay, that's piece 13. Piece 14, black walnut. This is piece 15. Very nice coloring going on here. 16. This one is too skinny to be toward the butt end. It'd have to be more toward the forearm. And I know you were talking about having lighter toward the top of the stick, but I included this anyhow because I thought it would be neat to contrast that pattern and have dark on the top and light on the bottom. 17 also would have to be more toward the forearm. This is about just shy of 7 inches long. Just wait until we get to the tiger maple. Little piece of black walnut here. Might be good for a ring section. Same with 19. Walnut. There's 20. I like this because of the light on one side and the dark on the other. 21 is just shy of 4 inches long. This is actually bark, but it's stabilized, so it's hard as a rock. This right here is bark, and that right there. Now we are getting into tiger maple. This tiger maple is some of the most extraordinary wood that I have flat out ever seen. I love this stuff. I'm going to make a stick called Crouching and Hidden, and it's going to be just out of tiger maple. Look at this stuff. Isn't that beautiful? Number 23 is about 10.5 inches. Patterns in this is just breathtaking. Oh, and this section right here, normally when you see that, you'd worry about it being cut away, except you can see from the end grain that that orangish color extends all the way down in. That's natural. It's just the wood's color, and so I expect that's going to be down when I cut into that piece too. Here is 24, and this is the single most stunning piece out of all of it. Just the wavy pattern in here is just amazing. 24, that's 10.5 inches long. 25 gets us into some of the more extravagant looking stuff with all of these. This is also tiger maple. You have a whole lot more robust coloring in this. Piece number 26 has more of this really neat looking red stuff going on. This one is 12 inches, 12.5. And I love this one for the really stark contrast between the light and the dark. And you also have incredible waviness going on and chatoyance. All that ripple effect that you have in the light. Number 27. A lot of flame pattern going on in here. This one is every one of them is my favorite, honest, but this one is my favorite. Look at this thing. It just blows me away. 28. More of that. It kind of has more of a curly waviness to it. It's like somebody hooked electrodes up it, shocked the shit out of it, and then I stabilized it. Just love it. See all that zzz kind of look to it. 29 is just like the last, except we got some of that reddish pinkish color going on here, along with the light and the dark and the ripples. This is piece number 29, just a hair over 10 inches long. And this one's narrow enough that it would have to be toward the front end of the stick as well, the top end. And 30, this is the last of the tiger maple. Well, except for the surprise piece of tiger maple. So this is 30. Really nice stuff here too. Okay, I admit this isn't my favorite piece. I mean, I love it. There's a lot going on here, but when you see the others, it's not as wonderful. So that's 30. 31. This is maple. This is some of the stuff out at Luke's place that I dyed red. And it's just there for contrast. I figured we might use it for some rings or something interesting if you like. Or not, whatever. Mostly I showed that one just so I could show you the blue one too. And this is more of Luke's maple. This is a Burl section, so there's a lot of action going on there. I don't know how much the camera picks up. I'll probably bring it in real close. So that's 32, and that's 10 inches long. And by the way, 31 is almost 17 inches long. Then we go to 33, and now we're back to the tiger maple, and this is tiger maple that has blue in it. And I just wanted to throw this into the mix because it looks extraordinary to me. Got some of the reds that stayed red. That's the less degraded wood. It didn't accept the dye. And the most degraded wood accepted most of the dye, and that's where we get the boldest blue color. That's piece number 33 at 7.5 inches long. And last, piece number 34, which is tiger maple that has red dye in it. This is about 7 inches, 7.5 inches long. Got some really nice wave patterns going on, some bold reds. And some of the holes that we would need to fill in with epoxy, and they could be black or red or purple or whatever. All right, so